Okay, this is a guide to what the marking guide says to achieve. You have to do 4 things. You have to write an appropriate comparison question. You have to draw a graph that allows features of the data to be described in relation to the question. Either a dot plot or a box and whisker plot. I suggest that we draw both of those, but you actually only have to draw one. Third thing, you have to write 3 or more statements that describe comparative features of the graph in context. And lastly, you have to make what I call an inference, and another word for inference is prediction about the population from the sample data. I'm going to talk about each of these aspects in a bit more depth now. So the first task is actually to write a question, and your question should look like the one that I've got at the top of the page there. It should start with, what is the comparison between, and then you've got to fill in the gap. Males and females and their reaction time, males and females and their heights, time to travel to school and mode of transport, reaction times and whether they play a ball sport compared to other sports. Okay, so that's how you start. What is the comparison between, and then in the next sentence you need to describe the population. We think of the population as how many people in a country. The population in statistics means the area of that you're concerned about. For example, it might be the students at Pakuranga College. It might be the people in Auckland. It might be the males in Auckland. It might be the year 10s in Australia. So that's what I mean by population. Really, really important that you describe that population in your question. Where does my question apply? Who does my question apply to? You'll notice from the PPDAC cycle, I've skipped out plan and data, and I've jumped straight to the analysis, because if you look at how the marking guide works, there is nothing about having a plan or writing anything about the data. However, in that section there is further evidence for me to work out whether you know that you're talking about the differentiating between population and the sample. But I'm skipping right over to the analysis right now. You have to be able to draw, as I mentioned earlier, a box plot, or a box and whisker plot, and a dot plot. Your graphics calculator, a calculator that looks like this, helps you to draw a box and whisker plot, and you could possibly borrow one of these from a friend who was doing the internal at a different time to when you're doing the internal, as long as you swap back again so they have their graphics calculator in time. There is a link at the bottom of this slide to explain how to use a video, how to use this tool. We don't have time this lunchtime, but I suggest that from your homework books you practice drawing dot plots and turning them into box and whisker plots. Underneath your graphs you need 3 statements that start with I notice. One statement needs to compare the spread of the data. Another statement needs to compare the shape of the data. And the third statement needs to compare the central tendency, which means the mean, compare means or medians. And if you're stuck for something else to write about, another thing to write about is something that's unusual. What I'm referring to are things like outliers and things like gaps in the data. What I'm about to say now is the most important part of the whole assessment. Your conclusion. Your conclusion, you have to choose one of these options. You can't choose both, you have to choose one. Either you say it is too close to call, and I've written too close to say, I don't mind, or you choose it is a fairly safe bet. You have to fill in the gap where there's dots. It is too close to call if males are faster than females. The medians are different back in the population. Or it is a fairly safe bet that the median of males and females is large. Sorry, the median of males. Let's start again. That the male's reaction time is larger than the female's back in the population. Those words, back in the population, tells me that you understand you're making a prediction about a group of people, and it would be even better to describe to me what that population is, whether it's year 10 girls or the males in Auckland or the males in the North Island, wherever it is, that whatever your population is. Okay, and that is actually the bones of what you need to do to achieve. If you are aiming at a merit or an excellence, you need to think about the evaluation. And I'm going to leave it there because that's all I wanted to get across to you is the achieved section.